My parents own a small shop in our town. It's nothing special, just selling regular groceries and food from local businesses. They've been running it for over 20 years, and my dad takes it very seriously, keeping the store open until 12 every night, sometimes even staying later. When I turned 16, I started helping out a few hours a week, and by the time I was 18, I began working full-time while doing online college courses. This particular night was my dad's day off, and my mom was having some health issues, so it was just me closing the store. It usually isn't too busy during the last few hours of the night, and there was never much to stock either. Around 9 p.m., almost no customers were coming in. I think only 1 or 2 people came in, so I grabbed a sandwich from the fridge and took a quick lunch break. Of course, right when I did, someone walked in. I made my way back to the front desk and put the sandwich aside, waiting for the customer to finish shopping. First, I pulled out my phone, and after a couple of minutes, I looked up to see how the customer was doing, but I didn't see him. I scanned the room again and still didn't see him anywhere. Thinking they were maybe in some off angle I couldn't see, I waited a few more minutes, but they still never came into sight. I didn't even hear them either. Feeling uneasy, I walked around the counter and started looking through the aisles. It didn't take long to find him in the second aisle. A man was crouched down at the end, staring at the floor and not moving or making a sound. "Sir." The man immediately looked up at me, then stood up and continued to stare at me. All I could focus on were his eyes. They were wide and full, kind of in an unsettling way, but after a couple of seconds, he quickly walked away and out of the store, never having spoken a word. Once I saw him leave, my first reaction was to check where he was crouching to see if there was any reason for him to be there, but there wasn't. The whole time he was just crouching in the aisle. It kind of freaked me out because of how odd it was. I went up to the front door and checked that he fully left the area. Obviously, it was dark out, but I didn't see him anywhere. I then went back to the counter and stayed a little more alert. 3 hours passed and not a single customer came in. It was now time to close up, and after so much time had passed, I wasn't thinking about that man anymore. I was just ready to go home. I walked up to the front and locked the door, then grabbed my bag and started walking toward the back door to leave when an extremely loud bang screeched through the store. I stopped in place, knowing it had to come from somewhere in the back, and it was so loud that I had no idea what it could have been. Worried, I slowly walked to the corner and looked down the back hallway. At the far end, dust was scattering through the air as the metal back door was loosely open. Standing right in the hallway was that same man from earlier. He was staring at me with the same wide-open eyes. I didn't know what to say or do. It was like I was just frozen in that moment. Despite his clear determination to break in, he didn't look angry. He had no emotion at all. I took a few slow steps back, then ran for the front, leaving the store and running to the other side of the street, calling 911. I called my dad too, and he rushed over to make sure I was okay. The man at the store was gone when the police got there, but he left behind a sledgehammer sitting on the pavement behind the door. At first sight, nothing looked to be missing or stolen, so his intentions are anyone's best guess. It's clear he was unstable though, which means he could have been planning anything. Thankfully for me, I didn't have to find out what that was.